Okay, this is Gridcannon, and you start by laying out a deck of, a grid of 3x3 cards. Each time you hit a royal, you put it to one side into a different pile, and we'll deal with those in a second. As you're laying out this grid, you skip the middle one. Joker is fine, and then we're getting a lot of royals, The reason we're skipping the royals is the royals are the enemies. So this is our grid that we have to work with. And we haven't put any royals in it because the royals are going to go on the outside. And so now you go through your deck of royals, and for each one, this is the same. You'll use this process when you go through the deck while you're playing as well. Each time you draw a royal, it has to go near the card that's most similar to it. It goes on the outside edge, but it nearest the card that is most similar to it. So this is the highest heart we have. So a jack has to go next to that. Because it's on a corner, we can choose whether to put it there or there. I'm going to choose to put it here. I won't explain why yet. Queen of clubs, got to go next to the highest club, so down there. Jack of clubs would have gone there, but now that space is occupied, so it's going to go next to the 5. Can go there or there. I will pick here, I think. Queen of hearts, that's the other position next to the highest heart. And king of clubs. There's it has to go here. That's the highest club, so it's got to take the only other available spot. So now, we're trying to kill these, kill all royalty is the goal of the game, using these numbers, using the Gridcannon. And the way you play basically is you draw a card, and each time you draw a card, you decide where to put it. It can only go on top of things that are lower than it or the same value. So if we had a 2, I could put it on that. I can't put it on this 3. Here, the only things I can put it on is this blank space or this joker. Jokers have no value, so you can always put anything on them. I'll put it in the middle here just to sort of make it clear. This is a space, you're going to put something there. The reason we leave that blank at first is just in case you draw all high numbers here. It makes it very difficult to place anything at all, so you need one blank space just so there's a safe place to put something like a 2. 4 of spades is that any use to us? So I should explain what we're trying to do actually, or how we do what we're trying to do. You know we're trying to kill the royals, but do you know how? No. And I'm trying to look for a spot where we can do it. We don't really have one yet. So I'll place that down there, just on top of another 4. That's a perfectly valid move. And now I want to place, let's see, let's do 8 of spades there, and then I hope, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit and go ahead until I get a card I want. This 9 of hearts, I'm going to place it here. And this is a significant move because what I've just done is played a card opposite a royal, and when you do that, you hit them with the damage equal to both of these. So this is the trigger and this is the payload. We've just shot the queen with 7 plus 8 damage, which is 15. The queen has 12 health, so that kills her. So this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to play cards such that you're shooting the other 2 cards at a royal. So to kill this jack, we'd have to play a card here, and then we'd shoot that 9 and the 6 at him. To kill this queen, we'd have to play a card there, but it wouldn't work right now because we'd only shoot a 6 and a joker at her for a total of 6. And the queen has 12 health. Jack has 11, queen has 12, king has 13. And then the only other thing to know about how you do this is that when you're killing a jack, the colour and suit of the cards don't matter at all. Just anything goes as long as you get 11 or more, it's fine. When you're killing a queen, you have to get the right colour. So she's a club. We have a club and a spade here. It doesn't matter that that's not her suit. They're both black cards. She's a black queen, and we get to kill her with that. If you're killing a king, you need to get the exact right suit. So only clubs count killing the king of clubs. So we would need a high club there. If that was a 9 of clubs, it would work. If that was a 9 of spades, it wouldn't work because you need the exact right suit. So we killed the queen already, that's good. Draw a 2, that's a very low card, usually the hardest to place. We can place it on the joker because it has no value, but we don't want too few low value spots on our grid, low value stacks, like ones. Once you run out of those, it gets really hard to place anything, and when you can't place something, there's a special rule for what happens then, and I'll get to it when it happens. Another 2, that's fine, we'll just place it there. A 3, also fine. Now here, I could place it here or here. I'm going to place it here because I don't want to raise the value of that. If we draw another 2 next round, that would leave me unable to place it. Right now I can place anything. Queen of diamonds. Okay, that has to go next to the highest diamond, which is this one. And I will place it, let's see, doesn't really matter, I don't think. I think I'll place it here just so that we don't have to, we're not playing at odds there. Although actually, maybe we should place it there. Because we're going to need to make this space red to kill this queen, and making it red also helps with killing this queen, so that's kind of convenient. In general, we've got a slightly nasty situation here with this queen, because this is a 9, and you want to fire this payload at her, we need to put a card there. And when the card already there is a 9, the only things you can put there are a 9 or above, or something that resets the stack. So that's tricky to trigger this payload. We don't even have good payload there either, so it's going to be a while before we kill her, I think. We have a much better shot at killing the Queen of Diamonds, because that nice high card right next to her is going to count against her. This is a lower spot to trigger, so it's easier to trigger, and we just need one high red card there. King of Spades, he's going to go either there or there. I'm going to put him there because if I put him here, we've got to play on that 9, as I say, that's tricky. Here I've only got to play on a 5, and that's fine. 8 of Hearts. That could be the high card that we put there. That's enough. If I put that there, when we're shooting this queen, it will be 17, and that kills her. When we're shooting that queen, it will be 14, and that still kills her. So that's good for now. It might screw us later. There are reasons not to do a move like that, but I'll get into that eventually. 10 of diamonds. Now, that's a very high diamond. Actually, yeah, let's do something clever. I was saying it's really hard to find something that you can put on top of a 9. Well, we just did. So let's put the 10 there. That triggers this 6 plus 8 damage on the queen, kills her. And it's also good for this queen because, you know, it's just nice to have a high red card. We already had one, so we would have been fine anyway, but it certainly doesn't hurt. 5 of diamonds. That's getting into dangerous territory. This is awkward. So my rule of, like, you usually want to put it on the highest thing it will go on to not change the value of the deck too much, not raise the value of the deck too much. That is overruled really here, because putting it there would be a bad move, because this king can only be killed by clubs, so the fact there's a club next to him is good. We don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to put it on a 3. But I'm scared now, because if we get a 3, a 4, or a 2, we can't place it. We got a 4. So this allows me to explain what happens when you get a card you can't place. You have a choice. One thing you can do is what I call a hard reset. So you can reset one of these stacks by just scooping it up. And which one shall we do? Let's say, so this 9 is awkward for us because although it counts nicely against that jack, it would be a good payload against him. Jacks aren't much of a problem really, the king is the problem. And it's going to be difficult for us to find a club that we can place on top of a 9 of hearts. It's going to have to be the 9 of clubs or the 10 of clubs. There's only 2 that can do it. So I'd rather reset that and give us more flexibility there. So when you have a card you can't place, the card you can't place goes on your shame pile, which I'll say is over there. You get to just pick up any stack you like and you put it on the bottom of your deck, and then you carry on playing. And now, because this is blank, I can play anything there, so it gives us a lot of flexibility. So if the next card I draw is really low, I'm fine, I can put it there, and I still have a kind of low spot in my deck. So that's how you get out of like a death spiral with a hard reset. There's another option though. The other thing you can do is if you don't want to have a pile of shame. The pile of shame is just a negative score, it just counts against you at the end of the round, end of the game. So you want to minimize it. And a way you can do that is to say, I'm going to add this as armor. And when the card you can't play, when you add it as armor, it has to go on the royal that's most like it. So it's the matching suit and then lowest rank of royal, because it's lower than them. So when you do that, you increase the hit points of that royal by that much. So that jack had 11 hit points, now he's got 15. That's fine for us, because we have 15 damage lined up against him. We have a 9 and a 6. So for once, this high value is actually counting in our favour. So in this case, I actually think both choices are equally valid, like shame piling it and doing a hard reset. It is good to reset that. Like, we do want to reset that. So that's a worthwhile use of it. But in this particular case, because we can kill him with this, I think we should. And in fact, we got lucky, because what we drew is an 8 of clubs, and we can play that there, and that's good, because it's still a club, the one we're replacing is also a club, but this is a better one because it's going to be easier for us to get enough of the payload to attack this king, and of course it triggers this 9 and the 6, which is 15 damage against a Jack who had 11 health plus 4 health, which is 15 health, and we've killed him. So we've dealt with our Shane problem right away. It's worth saying that if we end up putting a 9 or a 10 of clubs there, it won't matter so much that we raise this value, because it would have been enough anyway. But what I'm thinking will probably happen is we'll reset that some other way. Because if you draw an ace, for example, which I happen to have just drawn perfectly, then you can play that to anywhere on the board. It's only worth 1, but it can go on top of anything. So I'm going to play that on top, and it's a reset. So an ace is a reset, a joker is a reset, and if you get a card you can't play, you can do this hard reset that costs you some shame. But an ace is just a legit reset, doesn't cost you anything. You play it any way you like, you pick up the stack that you replace, and you put it on the bottom of your deck. You don't have to shuffle it in or anything, because I don't like shuffling. 5 of hearts. That can go here without causing too much fuss. We want to start thinking about getting some spades, well, a spade here specifically. We need a spade that's at least 7. Putting the 5 of hearts there doesn't hurt at all for that, because it doesn't raise the value of that, doesn't make it harder to replace. 8 of diamonds. We could, if we played this here, we'd kill the queen right away, because it triggers those two, and that's like 8 plus 10, easily kills her. But then we're making this value much higher, and this is the trigger for killing the king. And killing the king is harder in general, so we want as few obstacles to doing that as possible. I think we just put it on top of that 8 of spades, because that's not doing anything for us at the moment. We got an ace. So we could, yeah, further to what I just said, it's having this trigger place being high is bad for us, because we want it to be easy to trigger. And in fact, this particular place on the board has special status right now, because it's the trigger for these 2 kills, and it will never be a payload again, because the only times it's a payload is when you're shooting this direction, these 2 will be payload. When you're shooting this direction, these 2 will be payload. Both those royals are dead. Nothing else will ever go there. So we actually never want this to be high again. So playing an ace there is pretty good, and that's resetting a stack, so we take the stack and we add it to the bottom of our deck. Now it's super easy to trigger this, but we don't have any actual payload here that's valid. Oh, but look, I just drew a 10 of clubs. Perfect. So now anything can go there, and it will trigger the kill on the king, and that will be great for us. Queen of spades. She has to go here. Queen of spades, she can go near. Jack of diamonds. There's only one spot next to a diamond, so he goes there. 6 of diamonds. That, yeah, previously I might have played it here, but and I still might, but it does raise the value of this. Sorry, no, previously I might have played it there, because that's not raising the value. But now that we have the king, I might be just talking nonsense, that king was already there. Anyway, I'm going to play it probably here, because it can only go here or here. Oh no, it can go there actually. Oh, sorry, we've got to kill this queen. When we place that reset, that triggers the kill on the queen, because even a reset is still triggering that position. I think we put it on top of the queen. Sorry, the ace. My brain is a bit fried. This is not the first time I've done this video. 9 of clubs. That's cool. I like it. It's good. But where does it go? It goes, I would say here, because this, we've used it as a payload twice. Never needs to be a payload again. And we've used it as a trigger once. It already used that. This is the last time we ever need this tile for anything. So the fact that we just made it a really high value is not that important. And we get to kill the king of clubs. 1 king down. Or however many kings are down, that's how many kings are down. Because I don't remember. This is a perfect thing. Well, there's a perfect place for it at least. This is a 5 of spades, and we already had a 5 there. Now it's a spade, so it counts against the king. We don't have enough payload to kill him, because he has 13 health. But it's the fact that that's down means, now if we increase that one, we're fine. If we increase that one, we're fine. This trigger is very high for the king, which is a concern. Actually, the real concern is that trigger is maxed out, so it's going to be... If we do find something, let's see, 7 plus 6 is 13. That is enough to kill the queen. So as long as we find something that could either reset that stack or that's a 10, we can still kill that queen. King of hearts. Got to go next to the only heart. King of diamonds. Can't go next to a diamond or a heart. I can't remember if I mentioned this, but hypothetically, if we had a heart here, the diamond would go next to the heart just because it's the same colour. That's the next best thing to matching suit, is matching colour. But it can't even do that, so colour and suit are not a concern, so it just goes near the highest card, which is this one. Actually, not too bad for us. Usually that's bad when that happens, because the nice thing about royals going near the card they're most similar to is that you already have some payloads right next to them. We don't in this case, but we do have an 8 in the middle that happens to line up with him, so this is hard to replace, but we'll see how we get on. An ace. Okay, so we can reset something. I was saying this was bad for us, wasn't I? But the bigger concern is how we kill kings. I think we should reset this, because the chances of getting... In fact, we cannot get the 10 of diamonds on there, because 10 diamonds is already down. So we know for sure we're going to have to reset this. So I'm going to reset it now. And if memory serves, there's a reset. We already played an ace to this position. And that's actually good for us, because it means we're putting a reset back in our deck. And there'll be another one coming through. So if each time you use a reset, you get a reset back, your deck is kind of sustainable. At this point, I'm actually going to pause and just check that the recording's going okay. It is. 6 of clubs. Certainly don't want to put it there, even though that's a nice low value, because it would mess up our shot on the king of spades. It's kind of awkward, actually. It doesn't really go anywhere. We're kind of done with clubs. So I guess it just goes on the ace. Oh, another argument, actually, is that one of these has to be replaced. And it can only be replaced by... we want to replace it with a spade that's higher than these. So if we replace the 6 with this, basically whatever spade we find that could go on either of these tiles could go on both of them, because it can't be the 6 because they're already down. So I think it's actually totally safe to replace that, because we will have to find a higher spade anyway, and then it can just go on top of that. That's a lower spade. We have to put it there. Jack of spades. That's the last royal. We've got all the royals out. Okay, so we know everything now. Having a lot of royals active at once is more to think about. It's a bit more overwhelming, but it's actually an advantage because you know what's coming, and so you just have to focus on one thing at a time and try and get something done. 10 of spades. That's fantastic. That's just what we want. That lets us... Hey, this is really good. Oh, this is really good. Okay, so it's a perfect card to go next to the king of spades because we need high value spades. In fact, we have enough now. By placing it there, I shoot in this direction, which does 17 damage to this jack of diamonds. I also shoot in this direction, which does 5 plus 8 damage, which is 13 to this jack. So he dies as well. So I just got a double kill with a card that also lines up a shot on a king. So that was extremely good. 7 of spades. That doesn't help us anywhere, but it doesn't hurt to put it here. Oh, it does hurt to put it here because it makes the trigger higher for this king. We can't put it there, unfortunately, because it's not... I guess it doesn't hurt to put it there, does it? Still a black 7. That doesn't trigger anything on the king of diamonds because obviously we don't have that. Man, we're really rolling in these high spades, and I think I can just put it here. That's making a corner thing very high, but it's already been used as a trigger in that direction, and this is the last time it would be needed. So that kills the king of spades. Excellent. Oh god, it's a 2 of diamonds. We can't place that anywhere. So shame pile it or play it as armor. I think play it as armor. It's a nice low value. It would go to the king of diamonds because that matches suit. We don't have much against him at all yet, and the 10 of diamonds is down there, but I still think we can do it. The king has 13 health normally. With the extra 2, he now has 15. Okay. My phone made an ominous noise as if it might have stopped, but it hasn't. So he has 15 health. We've already got an 8 down. We only need a 7 or more there. And if I get a reset, I might use it there just so I've put the 10 in our deck, so we'll get it back. 3 of clubs doesn't help us, but we can place it. 7 of diamonds. That's just what I was talking about. So let's double check my math here. It's going to be 7 plus 8 is 15. He has 13 plus 2, which is also 15, so that is enough to kill him. So now we need a 7 or more of anything to go there. This queen is a little bit... It's a shame if we end up putting a red there, basically. But we don't have to, because we've got this. Okay, so I said a minute ago I'd use that to get hold of this 10 of diamonds, but now we don't need it. We've got enough on this king anyway. So if I just place it here, is that the right thing to do? Let me just check. It's actually not the right thing to do, I don't think, because this 10 is a problem for killing this queen. But we do want to kill this king as soon as possible, because we can't even start to kill this king of hearts until we get rid of this king, because we have to change, to kill the king of hearts, this has to change to a heart. So maybe I just bank on getting another reset at some point, and we do that now. This kills the king of diamonds. That also, I mean, I guess wherever we play it, we get a low slot, which is useful for us right now. We got 10 of hearts. That is, oh, that was actually perfect. That was the perfect move. The thing we just did was the right decision, because if we hadn't done it, the king of diamonds wouldn't be dead, and then we'd be absolutely kicking ourselves because we're in the perfect position to line up a shot on the king of hearts, but if the king of diamonds was still alive, we wouldn't want to do it. So now anything played there is going to... 7 of hearts, I think we might as well do that here, right? That's not useful for anything else, and it kills the king of hearts right away. So that's very cool. So now I want to place something on top of this, and something on top of this. That seems pretty doable. This seems a lot less doable. Let's see what we get. We're going to Joker. Okay, got to use that on the 10, surely. Oh shit. Yeah, we should do anyway. I was thinking it would actually kill the queen, but it doesn't, because we've got 10 plus 1, which is only 11 damage. The queen has 12 health. But I still think we should play it there. Yes. 4 of diamonds doesn't do anything for us. We could put it there or there. If we put it there, we've got to find a black that's at least that high. If we put it there, we've just got to find anything that's at least that high. So that imposes less restrictions on us. Now I found a 4. That's enough now. We've now got 14 damage against her, so as long as we can play something to a 4, and that'll do. It's only a 4, but that kills her. So now all we need is something higher than an 8 to kill this jack. And we got a 9. We've done it. So that is it. And we did it with no shame, which is pretty cool. So we took some gambles there, putting armor on the royals. And how viable that is, how much sense it makes, varies a lot case by case, because it really depends on what royal it's going to go to, how much damage you have lined up against them, how tricky the grid is. There's one mechanic that I didn't get to show you because it didn't come up. But let's say this royal had never come up, and we've killed all the royals that are on the board, and we're turning over cards. If there are no royals to kill, then instead of just turning over one card, you just keep turning over cards until you find a royal. And when you find a royal, you place them, and those cards you just turned over just go to the bottom of your deck, like anything else. And so that's about it. That's we're still messing around with it. It only came up with this on Sunday, and it hasn't had enough playtesting to know for sure how well it handles really bad deals and stuff like that. So we might need to modify it if that's a problem. But other than that, that is Gridcannon. One last thing, I want to give a shout out to Chris Thurston for that armor rule. You know, where he put the card who couldn't play onto the royal. That was his idea. And previously you could only do the hard reset thing, and it didn't feel quite right because it's not always 100% your fault when you draw a card that's too low to play. Sometimes you do get a bit screwed by the deal. And it's Chris's idea to let you add them as armor, and making that a choice is really good because it means that if you end up screwing yourself by adding armor, that's your fault because you made that decision. And equally, if you put it on your shame pile, you're always kind of thinking, maybe I should have put it on armor, maybe there's a way to get rid of it. So it turns what was previously just kind of a bum moment into an interesting decision, and sometimes a really good moment.